Hi there YouTube friends, welcome back to another episode of Auntie's Kitchen. My name's Amanda and I love sharing with people simple and delicious recipes that you can cook here in South Korea using South Korean ingredients. Today, crumpets, Warburtons crumpets. Please make sure to watch this video all the way through as I'm going to be sharing some tips how to make these delicious crumpets. If you've never had them before, they're a griddle-like cake, and what's unique about them is they're spongy on top with lots of holes to soak in all of the butter or whatever topping you choose to put on top. So let me show you today how we make homemade crumpets in South Korea.
As usual, all the measurements for today's recipe can be found in the description below. Into a large bowl, measure out some plain flour. I put a picture up on the screen at the beginning of the flour that I think works best in Korea. Then add some salt and water and whisk this for about 5 minutes. It's going to feel like your arm is going to drop off, but just remember that while you're whisking, you're burning calories, which is great because you won't feel guilty when you eat 1 or 2 crumpets at the end. After 5 minutes of whisking, we can take a short break. I put some yeast and a few milliliters of water into a jar and mix until the yeast is fully dissolved into the water. Next, I add some sugar, baking powder, and the yeast we just mixed with the water into the large bowl and then mix all of this until the ingredients are well combined. The last thing to do before cooking is to place a tea towel over the bowl and place it somewhere warm in the apartment for about 15 minutes. If, like me, you don't have any special crumpet rings, then just improvise. Today I use cookie cutters. I cover in oil and then line the inside with baking paper. You could also make your own rings out of tin foil. After 15 minutes of rest, you will notice that your crumpet batter has increased. The perfect consistency is if your batter looks like thick cream. Give it a final stir and break up any large bubbles. It's time to get cooking. Today I'm going to show you various styles of crumpets that you can make. For my first batch, I'm going to make 3 regular sized crumpets. In a preheated pan, place about 4 tablespoons of crumpet batter into each mould, with the heat set on about low-medium, then enjoy watching the magic happen. For the sake of today's video not being too long, I've increased the speed, but the crumpets take anywhere between 5 and 7 minutes to cook. Every so often I will lift up a crumpet to check that it's not overcooking on the bottom. As the crumpet turns a dull colour, as you can see in the video here, and it begins to dry on top, it's time to flip them over. I've removed the mould carefully and then turned them over. They only need about 30 seconds to get a golden colour. Crumpets are best eaten hot so the butter can melt into all the holes. You can eat them straight from the pan, in which case I would cook them a little longer for more colour. But personally, I think the best way to eat them, as we're doing today, is to completely allow them to cool down on a rack, and then when we're ready to eat them, place them in the toaster to warm up for 1 or 2 minutes. In the second batch we cook today, I'm going to be making 1 large and regular sized crumpet. Just repeat the same procedure. Oil the pan lightly and place your batter into the moulds. Not only is this a simple and fast recipe, but I find it incredibly relaxing watching the holes appear in the crumpets. Who does not love eating crumpets, so it seemed only fitting to make a heart-shaped crumpet. As I always say, please take this recipe and have fun with the different shapes of crumpets that you could make. I used a soft flour in this batch just to show you an alternate flour that you could use, but I think that plain flour works the best. Once all of your crumpets have cooled down, place them into an airtight container until you are ready to cook and eat them. They will keep for several days or even longer in your freezer. When you're ready to eat them, pop them into a toaster so that they're warm when you serve them. If you've never tried crumpets, then let me show you some great ways to eat them. The first way is very unconventional, but you could eat them with a mini cooked breakfast. Who doesn't like eating a runny egg yolk? But more traditional ways are just plain with butter or with jam and honey. Personally, my favourite way to eat these is toasted with butter and Marmite, but I've run out of Marmite, so my second favourite way is with some homemade golden syrup. I'll leave a link in the description to a recipe I posted on YouTube if anyone would like to make their own golden syrup. Thanks for watching today. Please now go and enjoy making and eating these homemade crumpets with friends and family. Don't forget to leave a comment below once you've tried them and let me know what you think of this classic British food. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great week. God bless. Chop och hamnada.